What's good, guys? Welcome back to another video. The last 3 days, I think we've been on an absolute heater. Like, not only did I nail all three moves, but also to the exact kind of time window. Like, basically, what I said has been coming true, like a crystal ball. And hopefully, we're going to be achieving the same amount of success like that for today. But one thing's for sure, the setup on Bitcoin today looks super straightforward. You're not going to want to miss this. But just right before we get into it, if you're new here, welcome. My name is Xuan. I've been publicly documenting the success rate of all of these YouTube trade calls that I've been making for the last year and a half or so. And currently, I'm at about a 75% win rate. So tend to be right just a tiny bit more compared to when I'm wrong. But now that you have a good reason to listen to me, let's actually get into the video. So to kick things off, so far we are still looking at a bearish daily bias, which means the bias is going to be, bearish, right? We're going to be looking for shorts today. Now, then we come down into the 1 hourly chart and we can see that, okay, prices overall still in pretty bearish forward flow. Not only are we forming lower lows and lower highs, and so right now, and price is currently coming back into what is known as a bearish order block, right? This entire block right here, until it basically closes above $64,000, we are going to be looking for shorts until proven otherwise. And besides that, if we can kind of like narrow this down, like we can also see that price recently came back into this tiny little fair value gap within the overall order block. And currently price is also showing some sort of willingness that it is kind of respecting the fair value gap and it's heading towards the downside. So all in all, I think today is going to be more of a bearish day until proven otherwise. I'm going to break it down as to the exact move that we're going to be looking for. But I really hope you guys managed to, capture this move from yesterday, because yeah, sure, I did manage to kind of update you guys as to the exact entry that I was taking on Twitter, but I have proof, I have receipts and everything. But also at the same time, I told you guys yesterday that I was going to have a live trading call with the students inside Blueprint and Bootcamp just to, kind of make them some money. And I think for the last 4 weeks in a row, like we have ended these calls with our wallets heavier compared to when we started the call. So yeah, the programs are definitely, acting as an asset that is actively generating money. But anyways, I really hope you guys managed to catch this. Like literally 8:30, you get the CISD, and right after CISD, I posted it on Twitter, and the rest is history, right? The first entry over here and the second entry over here, as price continues to go lower, just targeted the Asia lows. Would have been nice if we could, hit 63,200, but I just decided, like, at this point right here, the volatility was kind of dying off, and it was a good timing to kind of just close it out. I think it was like 12:30 p.m. So yeah, today we're going to be looking at a very similar setup, right? If you take a look at yesterday, because we have a bearish daily bias similar to yesterday, we want to see actually the London session go above the Asia highs, which currently London session is above the Asia highs. Now, the second thing that we want to see is that we want to be coming into some sort of hourly PD array, which currently we're coming into an hourly PD array. And then you want to see a CISD. Well, we have a CISD. So basically this is looking like a potential Asia accumulation, London manipulation, followed by a New York distribution type of setup. And the exact timing that you're going to want to look for this is, of course, at around 8:30 a.m. because this is when we're going to get news. Now, if you don't understand the importance of news, just understand that, like, when we have red folder, high impact news, right? If you go into Forex Factory, you can see filter it by USD red folder news. This means like these are the important pieces of news. And on red folder high impact news, we tend to have a much higher, substantially higher win rate on the system compared to when there is no news. Now, the reason why this is the case is because most moves in the market happens for a reason, right? Contrary to popular belief, like price action is not just completely random. Like, sure, most of it is random, but there are certain times when things happen a lot more consistently and it happens a lot more predictably. And those times tend to be within the high impact kind of news window, which is the hour before news to the hour after news. So given that news today is at 8:30, the hour before 7:30 to 9:30 is when we're going to be looking to take a trade. So basically, as we head back into, right, you're going to want to see this level kind of hold prior to the New York session, right? Prior to the news, you want to see this level hold, and then you're going to look for price to actually go lower. So by the time you watch this video, depending on where price is, like maybe price will be here, or maybe price would have already broken down. Like, it's as simple as just diving into a momentum trade, right? This is your entry, this is your TP, and you place your stop loss. Sorry, you place your TP at 2-to-1 risk to reward ratio, right? Depending on wherever price is. But one thing's for sure, given the fact that we have already kind of tapped into the fair value gap, and given the fact that on the 5-minute we have already gotten a CISD, we actually don't really want to see price action, kind of dip further. We actually don't want to see price action come back up too much, right? Maybe we can go for a bit of a liquidity sweep, but like one thing's for sure, you don't want to see a candle close above the 64,000 level, right? If we get a candle close above this level, like, yeah, the trade setup today is going to be very sketchy. And the reason why I bring this up is because, like, you got to remember that there are always two parts to every trade setup. The first part is that you got to have an opinion, right? You got to have an idea as to what you think the market should do, or like what you think the market's going to do. But then that's not enough to just jump into a trade, right? I see this so often. Just because you think that this is going to happen and then you kind of act on it, that's how you end up, jumping into false trades, and that's how you end up losing money. Well, the correct thing to do is to wait for the second part of the equation, which is once you have an idea as to what the markets are going to do, you've got to wait for the market to actually show you proof that, hey, the market agrees with whatever your idea is. So for example, right now, this is the high probability scenario, right? But in the event that this gets invalidated, guess what? It's just going to be a no trade. It's not like me just, it's not like I'm just going to be placing a limit here, place my stop loss and then, just target lower. I would, but the thing is, one of the core kind of requirements for trading on the system is that we don't want to be trading between the hours of 5 a.m. to 7 a.m. New York. Like, it tends to be, fairly low probability, right? Just because price action adds up, because when you take now, just because price action aligns up, but if you're taking these moves in the wrong timing, it could significantly alter your success rate. You got to remember, at the end of the day, there are two axes on your chart, right? The majority of people only look at the y-axis, which is price action. They fail to realize that certain moves happening on the chart at certain times have wildly different success rates. Once you understand that, time and price kind of work hand in hand together, that is when you unlock like a different level of profitability. But either way, just to, again, that would kind of make the overall situation quite sketchy. Although it doesn't mean that the trade is just going to be dead. Like, for example, you could just go for a manipulation above the London highs and then you're going to start breaking lower, just like kind of what we did yesterday, right? We're looking at this level right here at 64,100, but then price ultimately went quite high, basically to the top of the fair value gap. And so that was a bit sketchy. But overall, basically the reason why I still ended up getting into the trade is because at 8:30 a.m. we got the CISD. Again, certain things happening at certain times has different probabilities. The fact that once the news dropped and once you got that kind of like bearish signal and bearish confirmation, that was all I needed to see. So again, the way that this kind of plays into it is that, this level right here was my idea as to where I wanted the market to kind of get rejected from. But, the reality is that not every time things are going to go according to your plan, but you can still kind of adapt to it because, well, guess what? 8:30, it's like the highest impact kind of timing within the entire day. That's when you get the CISD. And obviously you put a lot of weight to that. Basically, the moment I started live trading call, we're already into a short, and the rest is history. Same thing for today. Just because I think that price is unlikely to kind of break above this order block. Sometimes it doesn't happen. Sometimes you will still get, a manipulation above the highs. And then 8:30, if you get that similar CISD towards the downside, then guess what? That's going to be the direction, or that's the trade that you take. Just remember one thing, like the direction does not change. We're still looking for a short today. In the event that price today just ends up being super bullish and we don't end up getting a trade, then that's that. Right? It's not every day is a trading day. Just because you have an idea doesn't mean that it's 100% going to have, a trade set up. So just remember that. Overall, the targets for today should still be at around 63,200. This is not only the previous daily high, but in the event that price actually moves a little bit further, you can see that down here, I have another level right here at 62,200. Now, I believe this is the previous weekly low. So this is also a pretty decent target to kind of, aim for. But at the end of the day, if you manage to get kind of 2R out of your trade, where basically like if this is how much your risk is, and you just basically target for 2R. Obviously this is 2.35, but if that number is 2, as long as you target for 2R, like that's it. That's a good trade. But if there is any trade updates, I'll definitely be posting it onto Twitter. So feel free to follow me there. And just remember one thing, like your trading results could change quick the moment you install a profitable system that is proven, that is tested through years and years and years of price action as well as live trades. Like, you've seen my success rate. I try to be as transparent as I can. And obviously you guys have seen time and time again, like I'm posting the results that our students are getting basically on a daily basis. So if you'd like to become the next success story and just basically make a full-time living out of trading, click the first link in the description box below, and you will be surprised at how fast you can get results once you have a proven system in place. But with that out of the way, I'll see you guys later on Twitter and tomorrow in the next video. Ciao, ciao.